talk about banks and loans. Mainstream banks are reluctant to loan churches money. Why do you believe that is the case?
Banks don't want to be put in a position of foreclosing on churches.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't want to be put in that position. So
that's the truth.
So when we operate churches in general, in fact, this comes up a lot of times with nonprofits. When we operate nonprofits in general, we're not operating them to show a surplus or show a profit. But one of the main points of a bank is show me your last 3 to 5 years of statements showing that you have the cash flow to cover this debt service. But I'm not built that way. That's not how I built my organization. My organization was built on, I made $100,000. I spent $100,000 because I'm trying to deliver the services. And so it becomes a different dynamic. So if you're going to do this project, not only do you need to do what Dr. Merritt said, which is put money away, you actually now need to prepare your financials for this project. And so you're now 2, 3, 4 years away from showing 2, 3, 4 years of net surplus from your operation so that you can cover the debt service if you're going to take on debt as what you're doing, right? And that again starts to put less leverage or on your side if you're needing to bring other people who are going to come in and guarantee, or other people are going to come in and lend money to you because you don't have the financials that demonstrate that you can handle it. But on the other side, on the other side, there are other lenders. There are a growing number of lenders now who are doing this kind of work.
Crossing Capital.
I believe Crossing Capital is looking at, or Oikos through one of those entities, looking at starting a CDFI.
Crossing Capital.
That's a more favorable lending institution who will be given money to put it into the community. Now, they're not just giving the money away. I mean, don't misunderstand that. But they're not judging you in the same way traditional banks are doing. I serve on the board of an organization called the Leviticus Fund. We are a CDFI, and we lend money differently than the way traditional banks do. So that's a growing number. The issue there, of course, is not as much resources are there as in the traditional banking. So you may need to get there. And then a lot of banks now also have their nonprofit side of their bank. Again, not the same amount of resources that they have on their for-profit side, but they do have resources available. If you prepare yourself, is your project financeable?
I have so many people that say, well, I have an idea, but is it really going to help the community, and can you pay for it?
That's a real thing, right? I mean, even in Emory's case, for example, right, they raised pre-development money through a number of sources. Congregation, their CDC got grant money, right, to your point, Reverend Walls. They borrowed money from assets that they owned that were not church assets, right? They bought properties near the church, which they leveraged, right, in order to use that money to help them develop their property and maintain control of their project. And then when it came down to their financing partners, even on the church component, were the backstop to the church. But the lender, the tax credit investor and lender, they had two lenders. One was the United Methodist Development Fund out of New York. They underwrote the deal just like a regular piece of commercial real estate. And Wells Fargo, who provided the construction loan as well. They had to underwrite the deal. I mean, it's Wells Fargo, for crying out loud. The two things that Wells Fargo was interested in is, do you have the financials? Can you show that you have positive cash flow so that you can pay the debt, right? Your church business has to be a profitable business. And then the second piece was, do you have the long-term wherewithal to maintain the project, right? So you still have to have, they still wanted to evaluate, say, your board, right? And your building team, because at the end of the day, it's about these people who are running the organization. Can I trust that these people will be there? And I happen to be, quote unquote, one of those people that they needed to trust. I was their development manager. They had to trust that I could execute the construction project, that I had the history of delivering projects on time and on budget, and that there was senior leadership in the church that could manage their interests in a way that, one, they wouldn't be fighting with each other, there wouldn't be chaos because a bank assesses all of that risk, right? At the end of the day, you're just as good as the people you have on your team, right? And then, yes, how deep are your pockets? In this case, they had, other money partners to do that. But all of those things are important when a bank looks at lending to a church institution.